This is the lesson 25, the third declension, which, as you remember, is that tough declension, the one that gives us the trouble. We had some of these in lesson 17, and now we get more nouns of the third declension, and then adjectives of the third declension as well. The vocabulary is on page 157. Alethis s as an adjective, which means true. Now, this has only two forms, as you see, alethis and alethes, and the alethis is masculine and feminine, and the alethes is the neuter. We'll see that in a little while. Anir andros, a man. This is man as distinguished from woman, while the anthropos that we had before is man as a human being, distinguished from all other beings. Archierefs and archiereos, a chief priest. Basilephs, basileos, a king, and you see those two words are of the same declension. Yenos, yenus, a race or a kind. Grammatefs, grammateos, a scribe. Ethnos, ethnus, a nation. And then ta ethna would be the nations or the Gentiles. Erefs, ereos, a priest. Miter, mitros, a mother. And oros, orus, a mountain. Pater, patros, a father. Pistis, pisteos, faith. And we had pistevo, to place your faith in. This is the word, this is the noun faith. Pistis, pisteos, faith. Pleris, pleres, adjective, full. That's the same kind of adjective as we have with alethis. And polis, poleos, a city. And charis, charitos, grace. Now, that's the vocabulary, and there really isn't much in this chapter except what he says. There are some more forms. So this is a good chance for you to catch up on your vocabulary, on your forms. Work hard on this. Get these squared away in your mind, because these forms will continue to come up. They come in the New Testament. This is not an isolated academic situation here. We're looking forward to using these in the New Testament. So, in paragraph 347, you see the first list of forms, charis, and you'll hear these on the cassette tape, so I don't really need to go over these as much as I want you to memorize them, not the endings, as we did with 17. Remember, we did the whole word, and that's the simplest way to do it, I think. And sometimes if you want to emphasize the endings, then your accenting will not be quite as good, but that's worth it. Go ahead and do it. Charis, charitos, chariti, charin. Charites, chariton, charisi, charitas. So emphasizing those endings. Learn them that way, and you'll hear them on the tape in that way. In paragraph 349, polis, poleos, poli, polin, polis, poleon, polesi, polis. The word for city, which is a feminine, and you again remember in the third declension, you can't tell whether words are masculine, feminine, or neuter. You have to look at the lexicon. You have to know it, simply know it. In paragraph 352, we have the declension of yenos, a race, and this is a neuter, therefore you only see three forms. Again, I suggest that you take that accusative and put it down there and write yenos at the bottom, so you have yenos, yenus, yeni, yenos. Yeni, yenon, yenesi, yeni. Get the four forms, because you're used to that. It will be better. Now, these other paragraphs, he's just saying, this is why it's this way or that way. For my part, you simply learn it, and that's all you need. Then basilephs, basileos, remember we had about 3 words there in that section on this, so they all follow the declension of basilephs. Basilephs, basileos, basili, basilea. Forget the vocative, we don't need that. And then basilis, basileon, basilephsi, and basilis. Again, listen to the tape, learn them that way. Then in paragraph 360, we have alethis, alethes, and again the masculine and feminine are the same, and then the neuter is different. Alethis, alethus, alethi, alethi. Learn them by rote, get them squared away in your mind. Now, something I neglected to say the last couple of sessions, and that is that once we start doing 1 John, you really could cut down on your homework some. Maybe do 5 or 6 or 7 instead of doing 10, 12. So cut down on it, and then do the work in 1 John. speaking of 1 John, we have the verses 5 and 6 for today. And you'll see them here on the board. This, remember this is the demonstrative pronoun from paragraph 104 of Machen. This is the message. Now, you have to say, well, where does the OT clause fit in? Well, this, that is, that God is light and darkness is not in him at all, is the message. So if you, the only way I know to do that is to make it as an appositive. This is the message. And if he were pointing, you can do that. This is the message. So this, and then you have your OT clause then used as a noun, as an appositive with afti. And then God is light. Notice the mark this way, because estin is a linking verb, and phos is looking back here and completing the meaning of the verb, and is nominative because estin takes the nominative. And then God is light and darkness is not in him at all. Now you may consider this as an adjective and say no darkness at all is in him. I think that's a possibility, because after all, mia is the word for one. Not one darkness is possible, but it's also possible for it to be there as an adverb. Darkness is not in him at all, in that sense. This is the message. Now, what is the message? The message which. See the relative pronoun here? That is feminine, and it's singular. This is feminine singular. So it agrees in gender and number, and that's what a pronoun is supposed to do. So that tells us that we're talking about the message, that is the message which we have heard from him and declare to you, or announce to you. So this is modifying then. The relative pronoun is modifying, the relative clause is modifying the angalia. Okay? So your verbs then are estin twice, put it down twice, separate line, because then if we're grading these, we need to see everybody had the same verb. So 3 estins in fact, and then akikomen and anangelomen. Put them in the order of the text rather than the order of the diagram, of course. And next verse, verse 6. This is an interesting verse. This is where it starts in the text. If, remember, this is the protasis, and that's the apodosis. The protasis is if we say, then we have another OT clause used as a noun, object of a verb of saying. This is not unusual. This is indirect discourse with the OT. If we say that we have fellowship with him and we are walking in the darkness, if that's true, then we are lying and we are not doing the truth. It's a good point that John makes. We are really not having fellowship with him if we're walking in darkness. We're just lying, kidding ourselves. We're lying to ourselves, lying to others. And we're not doing the truth that God expects us to do. So John's very convicting. Don't get hung up in the Greek and forget that John is saying something very significant to us. That if we are saying and if we are supposed to be in the light, that we better act like it. And we'll see that even more so in verses 7 and 8 next time when we do chapter 26.